Hey, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and welcome to the middle of the work week. We are almost through the work week, but we just have storm after storm after storm. You know, today we have storms. Tomorrow it's a very low risk for storms, but as we get into that third day, that's whenever we have a really good chance to see strong to severe thunderstorms. We're talking about pretty decent tornado risk, large hail risk as well, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's go back to today. We're talking about the plains again today. We're talking about a large hail risk as well as a high wind risk. So that isolated hail is absolutely possible, but models, they aren't handling this storm very well. They're not handling what's going to happen this evening well. And then we also have a tropics update for you. We've actually seen an increased risk in two different areas that we are going to keep an eye on, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Alrighty, let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Yes, yesterday we saw some large hail across the northern side of the plains. We're talking about North and South Dakota, exactly where we pinpointed yesterday. North and South Dakota, right along that state line is where we saw those storms. That slowly congealed into a line of storms that have now tracked down into places like Iowa. So early this morning, many Iowans woke up with some loud thunderstorms out their window, and I think with that we're still dealing with some of those storms across Iowa right now. Some high winds, small hail, if any, I think are possible, but I don't think that there's anything severe going on at the moment. Now today, here's a look at your area of concern. We're going to see a few isolated storms later on today, but that risk increases as we head into the end of the work week. So tomorrow we go back up to the northern plains, and then by Friday we already have a level 3 risk across the northern plains into places like North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. And we'll get there and we'll talk about what we expect on Friday, but let's talk about what we're seeing right now. We have a little disturbance, as I mentioned, moving across the central portion of the U.S., causing all of that showers and storms across Iowa and Missouri, going right through Kansas City right now. Heading out to the northeast, we've got a few isolated showers out there down to the southeast. A few more scattered showers and storms. Now this is going to be a very common occurrence over the next few days. We will have more rain in this area. And as we go across the middle of the U.S., it's dry for the most part for now, but we are expecting storms later on today. Let's talk about your current temperatures. It's hot outside. A lot of people at Hail Trace love to go for a walk in the mornings, and they were saying it's hot, even in the mornings. Yes, we don't have a break from this heat. You may actually hear through my mic that we have the AC running just 24/7 at this point. And I think that your house is probably the same way. You guys are probably the same way, where it's getting hot and unfortunately it's just going to get hotter. Now let's talk about the hail risk, and then we'll talk about the tropics, and we'll talk about the heat as well. Alrighty, let's get into the hail risk for today. You can see that some of those darker oranges, those reds, are showing up on our hail map for tomorrow and today. So we've got some of those darker oranges in there, those reds down in places like South Dakota and Nebraska. Could we get some large hail out of this? Yeah, I think absolutely we can. What are we talking about? Well, I think most storms today are going to produce golf ball size hail. Could a few of them produce larger hailstones? Absolutely. How large? Up to baseball size hail today. But for the most part, these storms are going to produce some smaller hailstones, anywhere between that $50 to golf ball size hailstone. And honestly, it's going to be pretty isolated today. So we've got a very small risk, very low risk for large hail today. I kept those mostly in the green. I think in between South Dakota and Nebraska, we could see a few more storms. Again, how large could the hailstones get today? Most of them golf ball size or smaller, but a few of those could get up to baseball size hail. It's exactly what we saw a few days ago out in Colorado, where we got mostly some smaller hailstones, but every now and then you would get that report of a 3-inch size hailstone. I think that that could happen again today. Other than that, we're watching for that high wind risk across places like South Dakota into Nebraska and Iowa. I think that we could absolutely get a high wind risk in this area. And what we're talking about here is we're talking about storms that are ongoing right now, but we're going to see more storms later on tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So if you woke up to rain this morning, there's a really good chance that you could wake up to those showers and storms again tomorrow morning. Alrighty, let's go down and let's talk about the exact timeline here. Again, models are not handling this very well. We've got that rain that's happening right now, but a few isolated storms happening later on today. Models are not pulling that up. Models are not handling that very well. Yeah, so it's pretty conditional. What we're going to see is we're going to see a few isolated storms across the central portion of Nebraska, the north central portion of Nebraska, into South Dakota, and then into places like Iowa, right? Again, tomorrow morning you could be waking up with rain very similar to what you saw this morning. We often have questions about Iowa. Yes, it could rain. What about the severe risks? Probably more of a wind risk than a hail risk. I think it's going to be a very, very low chance for hail in Iowa today. Taking you out to the southeast, we've got scattered showers and storms. We're going to see this ongoing not only today, but also tomorrow and Friday. Now, I will show you that we do have a flood risk in this area. It's a level 2 for today, which means that we could see up to widespread flooding in this area. Now, what we're watching for really is just this ongoing rain chance. So it's not just a risk today, but also tomorrow and on Friday. A little bit of rain every single day. The soils are very, very moist right now, and that's going to cause the flooding risk to increase as we head into the weekend. So we'll talk about that a little bit here in just a few minutes, and we'll talk about the tropics and just all of that tropical activity in the Atlantic, but I want to go out to the Pacific first. So we have a really good chance to see tropical cyclone formation out in the Pacific just south of Mexico. Now, what we're watching for here is we're watching for this system. It's a disturbance right now to slowly form into a tropical cyclone. Taking you out to the Atlantic, we have two areas of concern right now. We have a 20% chance for tropical cyclone formation over the next 2 days, but give it a little bit more time and that chance goes up. We have a wave right now that's looking very, very suspicious, and we have the right conditions kind of in a conveyor belt of storms right here to go all the way up and then turn to the north in a very similar fashion to where Dexter is right now. Now we have another area just off the east coast. Now this area, we have a 40% chance for tropical cyclone formation over the next 5 to 7 days. Now I will tell you, this is an increased risk compared to what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, I think we were saying a 30% chance. We were saying it's pretty unlikely. At this point, we could see something off the east coast. And what we're seeing here is that we've got some warm temperatures in this area. We've also got some low wind shear, and that's exactly what storms need to form into a tropical cyclone, to organize themselves, right? So we've got Dexter right now. We've got Aaron on deck. Could the next storm happen off the east coast? Could that be our next named storm, Aaron? I think it's absolutely possible. We're really just ramping up for the season right now. I showed you this yesterday, but I'll show it again. Our tropical storms and hurricanes, they ramp up this time of the year. Where are we at in the year? This is very, very typical to see more activity in the Atlantic this time of the year. I mentioned that low wind shear. What we're watching for here is we're watching for those reds and purples, and we are getting that just off the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. And that sticks around for the most part. It shifts a little bit to the east as we head into the weekend. And I mentioned our warm temperatures in this area as well, sitting at 82 right now, but a little bit warmer as you get closer to Florida. So we've talked about storms today. We've talked about the tropics. What about storms tomorrow? Well, we move up to the north. We go into places like North Dakota and South Dakota tomorrow, and we already have a level 3 risk on Friday. Now, this is pretty rare. Very rarely do we see a level 3 risk 3 days out. So will there be storms on Friday? I absolutely think that there will be, especially in places like eastern North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, and the western side of Minnesota. We can take a look at storms for tomorrow. Here is your risk for tomorrow. Here's your timeline for tomorrow. Storms really favor the northern side of the U.S. You can see those stronger storms a lot more favorable today, a lot more favorable tomorrow compared to today. There you go. A lot more favorable tomorrow compared to today. Models are handling what's going to happen tomorrow a lot better than they are today. They're not doing a very good job of picking up on storms today. Other than that, we are talking about warmer temperatures. Yes, unfortunately, that warm air that you feel right now, it's just getting hotter. We are going to see those warmer temperatures creep back into the U.S. as we head into the middle or end of the work week. Now, really what we're watching for here is these temperatures above average, right? So this time of the year, let's say your average in Kansas is 94. What are we talking about? Well, it looks like temperatures are probably going to be 5 to 10 degrees above average. So we're talking about temperatures in the triple digits as we head into the work week, into the end of the work week. So yes, upper 90s, triple digits are possible by Thursday and Friday. Oh, this is tough to look at. It's going to be hot as we head into the work week. I mean, it's August. What do you expect? Unfortunately, temperatures are going to stay above average as we head into the middle of August. So as you start back to school, you know, the kids head off to school, it's going to be hot out there. You send the kids to the bus stop, send them with some water. It's definitely hot as we get into the middle of August. Now, what concerns me about these maps here is that we not only have a lot of heat moving into the middle of August, but we also have some very dry conditions. So it looks like our rainfall totals are going to be below average as we head into the middle of the month as well. That's going to increase the fire risk. That is not something that we like to see, unfortunately. We've already got a fire risk in this area, and I think that will just continue as we head into the next week or two. And there's your forecast. Pretty simple for today. A quiet day other than in South Dakota and Nebraska. Now it gets a lot more active as we head into the end of the work week. So follow us for more weather updates, and of course we'll give you that forecast by Thursday and Friday as well. We're on right around noon every day, you know, give or take a few minutes. And you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And our meteorologists are working very hard to map storms with you near real time. And if you're interested in one of those storm maps, a hail map, a wind map, a tornado map, give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com or head over to our website, hailtrace.com. Alrighty, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow.